Oh, my YouTube friends, I am back, and today I want to share with you what I hope could be a significant, or potentially be a significant change or addition to the Fly with Trent channel, and how I hope this change will help all of you to be more successful on your path to becoming a pilot or whatever it is that you are shooting for. If you're new to the channel and you're not yet, somehow this video made it into your feed because you are pursuing a career in aviation. But let me quickly recap for the new folks what made my channel so popular in the first place. Back in May 2023, I decided to go to flight school. In 91 days, I was able to earn 7 different pilot ratings, and I did all of that for under $50,000, and my channel blew up as a result of that. Then over the last year, I worked as an independent CFI, earned well over $100,000. From private pilot with 100 hours, just 13 months later, I had received a conditional job offer from SkyWest, which is the largest regional airline in the US. I am currently awaiting my jet training class. And over this period of time, long-term viewers will know that I shared the nitty-gritty of literally everything that I learned along the way, with the goal of inspiring you guys to be able to do something similar to me. All right, so with that said, something that I don't know that I ever really talked a lot about was, why did I want to become a pilot in midlife? What were the benefits, both from a financial perspective and from a lifestyles perspective, especially given my career as an entrepreneur for as long as I've been doing it. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, because I think it will make the announcement that I'm going to make at the end of this video even more relevant. So, as I'm sure you probably are very well aware, the internet is full of people who are telling you you should start your own business and you'll get rich and you'll make a gazillion dollars and life will be great. And for a scant few people, that actually is very, very true. But the reality is, if you don't yet have a business, well, picking one to get into is hard. There's so many different options, and there's so much noise on the internet telling you to do this or do this or do this or do this. And quite honestly, it's wildly overwhelming, I think, for the vast majority of people. And then when you do pick whatever business it is that you're going to start, getting financing is basically impossible, because unless you are starting something that's going to be backed by venture capitalists, which is a tiny little percentage of all of the startups, there's really just no money available to you, which means you have to do what I did and put your own net worth online. And then when you've got your whatever business up and running, finding customers is hard, sales and marketing is hard, and you're going to work in a ridiculous amount of hours like I did. And unfortunately, the sad truth is, the reality is that most small businesses fail, and only about a small percentage of all of the many, many thousands, hundreds of thousands of small businesses that are started in the United States ever exceed $1 million in revenue. And while $1 million might sound like a lot to you, by the time, if you have staff and overhead and expenses, $1 million is not going to leave very much for you, which is to say that most small business owners actually end up staying broke. And really, they have a hard time getting loans from the bank because they're self-employed, and banks don't like to lend to self-employed people. They're working crazy long hours. They're always thinking that I'm just one step away from breaking through. And that is often not the case. Now, in my case, as I recorded in a prior video called Stupid Me, blah, 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 I'll put a link to it down in the video, down in the description rather. I did have a reasonable amount of success with being a small business owner, albeit I had plenty of ups and downs. I had periods like in the late, like 2018 to 2020, 2021, where I made just ridiculous amounts of money. And then I had periods where from like 2021 to more recently when my software company, it just stopped growing. And to be honest with you, it kind of ruined me. I mean, I put all of my heart and soul into that thing, all of my energy. And I thought, oh, the software business, it's so profitable. That's going to be the thing that turns me into a super rich dude. And it didn't pan out. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that, which are beyond the scope of this video. But the reality is it was really, really hard. Now I still have that software company and it kind of runs on autopilot and it still makes me some money, but it definitely didn't achieve the goals that I thought it was going to. So being as I'm a little later in life, as of the recording of this video, I'm 54 years old now. I was like, wow, gosh darn, this is about a year ago. And this is how the whole pilot thing came around. I was like, I need a way to set the rest of my life up to make it not hard. And so I wanted to find a quote unquote easy job, and relative to my career as a business owner and a CEO for many years, and employees and the ups and the downs and all of that, most any job would be an easy job, to be honest with you. But I think a pilot is an especially easy job. And I wanted a job also that had plenty of time off and it needed to pay me quite well. And so airline pilot happened to fit that bill. Now, so why did I want that? Well, I wanted that because one of the most profitable things that I ever did during all of my years as an entrepreneur was an investment in real estate. I bought and I have a video somewhere on my channel about this, where I bought a 18,000 square foot light industrial building in Garden City, Idaho in, I think it was 2018, 2019. And it was an absolute pile of crap when we bought it, very poorly managed, in really rough shape. And we bought it and all the tenants moved out and we fixed the building, and over a 2-year period of time, we made a lot of money on that building. And I thought, man, that was so much easier than doing a startup or doing any type of business on my own. And I made all this money, and getting the financing was really, really easy. And I didn't have to go and get customers. And I mean, I had a few tenants, but they were easy to get. And I didn't have to build all these sales and marketing systems. I mean, relatively speaking, it was pretty easy. And I think we made a net profit over 2 years of around $650-ish thousand dollars. And then we got a bunch of tax benefits. So I was like, man, I need to do more of that. So the whole becoming a pilot thing was to be able to put myself in a position to become an active real estate investor, but I still needed a paycheck. Because I didn't earn enough in my life so far that I could just retire and never do anything forever. I still needed to be bankable. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, banks don't really like to lend you money unless you have a job. That's just how they work. So by having a W-2, it makes it much easier for me to get bank loans. And all of those years as an entrepreneur, I really didn't get to buy a lot of real estate. I didn't own a home for a lot of those years because the banks wouldn't lend me any money to do it. And I also didn't understand how to buy a home without a bank loan, which I'll talk more about in this video. So suffice to say, the real big reason why I became a pilot was, minimum number one, if I didn't do anything else, I wanted to have a pretty nice way to earn a living that I would enjoy, that I could do probably into my mid 70s. Now you can only do an airline pilot till 65, but you could do corporate pilot work and stuff after that. But I also really wanted to put myself in a position to become a more successful real estate investor. In other words, that light industrial building, I wanted to be able to do that again or something else. So now let's talk about the future of the Fly with Trent channel and what I plan to do to keep helping you guys as best as I can. So I do plan to create more content to support people starting career 2.0 as a pilot. That's still going to be a focus of the channel. But for the people who've been around this channel for a while, you know that I've already shared my story. Like, I already went and documented the whole story from guy with private pilot's license that was 20 years old with only 100 hours to now I'm an airline pilot. I got hired by SkyWest and I'm sitting here waiting for my training class. So look for me to share more stories of other people who are achieving similar things. And I hope that you find inspiration and motivation and education from those other people's stories, because I can't just retell my story over and over again. And sure, there's a few more things in my story that I'll talk about. I'll talk about, when I go through jet training, and there'll be some stuff. But, most airlines have fairly strict policies for social media about what you can and can't talk about. So I won't have the freedom to go into all the nitty gritty that maybe I've had so far. So that's why I want to continue to be creative in the way that I create content for you guys to help make it as easy as possible for you to get where you want to go. And then the other thing I plan to do is really just kind of become a reporter, put my little reporter hat on for the aviation industry and talk about kind of what's going on in the industry and hiring trends and so forth. And I've done a little bit of that in the past as well. So chapter 2 then of the Fly with Trent channel. So now Fly with Trent becomes a little bit more of a metaphor. Instead of actually flying an airplane for chapter 2, let's just kind of fly through life or fly towards success. And that is to share my journey of becoming a successful real estate investor. Now, at this point in time, I honestly don't consider myself very knowledgeable about investing in real estate at all. Yeah, we owned a rental house or two, and I did this one deal, and we did really well on the one deal. But I mean, like, maybe I just got lucky. What I really need to do is figure out how to be successful on a repetitive and ongoing basis. So that journey is something that I intend to share in detail here on the channel. Like, for example, a beginning part of that journey is, okay, I want to be a real estate investor, but what kind of real estate? Am I going to buy houses, which we've done? Am I going to do mobile home parks? I've been an investor in other people's mobile home parks, but do I want to do that? Do I want to do more light industrial? Do I want to do industrial outdoor storage? Do I want to do residential assisted living facilities? Like, there's a gazillion different ways that I could become a successful real estate investor. And obviously, if I try and dabble in all of them, that's not going to be a good idea. So I'm going to share with you in future videos kind of the thought process of each one of those asset classes and the pros and cons, and why ultimately I haven't even picked what I'm going to do. I kind of have an idea, but I'm still doing my due diligence on that. And so I'm going to share all of that stuff with you guys as it unfolds. So much like my aviation journey, when I shared all the nitty gritty of getting from private pilot with 100 hours to airline pilot, I intend to do pretty much the same thing. And just like with the pilot journey, I'm here at the very, very beginning, and I don't really know that much, to be honest with you. But here's what I have learned so far, because I have been consuming how educational content on becoming a real estate investor for quite a while now. When I've not been making videos for you guys, I've been listening to a lot of videos and podcasts and reading a lot of books. And here's what I've learned. Number one, you actually don't have to have a lot of your own money to become a successful real estate investor. But you do need to become very proficient at finding and analyzing both potential markets and then properties within those markets. And I definitely do not consider myself to be an expert at that yet, but I do think it is something that I can learn. And as I learn it, of course, I'm going to be sharing what I learned with you guys. I've learned that you absolutely need to network with other investors, because real estate is not a solo sport. And then finally, because not everybody has the same goal, I do want to put it out there that, if you did nothing more in your entire real estate investing career than buy 2 houses instead of just the one that you live in, and then own them both for 10, maybe it was 2 more rental houses, or maybe it was your house plus another rental house. But if you did nothing more than own them for 10 years or till they doubled in value, and then you sell one and pay off the other one, you're going to be wildly further ahead financially than the vast majority of people in the United States who never do anything more than own a single principal residence. So that's a little insight, a little peek behind the curtain of what I'm going to be working on over the next couple of months. Obviously, when I go to jet training, there will be another period of silence, because I'm not going to be doing anything for the 60 days or so that I'm going to be in jet training. Last I heard from SkyWest, that's going to be probably in January But of course, things can change. So, look for more updates on me on that. So with that said, before we close out today, what I would love for you to do is, as I always ask you to do, is leave me your feedback, please, down in the comments. What do you think of my plan for the channel in the future? Are you going to continue to be an enthusiastic watcher and supporter of the channel? Are there things that you're hoping that I would cover that maybe I didn't talk about in this video? And of course, this video is only so long, so I can only talk about so much stuff. Do you have any other questions on the journey that I've had so far? For the journey in aviation that I've taken so far, is there something that I really didn't cover well enough for you? Whatever it is that comes to mind, please put that down in the comments. And I look forward to reading all of those and replying to them. And as always, thank you so much for being a supporter of the Fly with Trent channel. It has been my honor and my privilege to make all these videos for you, and I hope to continue to do that in the future. Take care. Bye-bye.